right now. Cool. Okay, there's a couple of emails. It was a relatively quiet night on the markets. All the PMIs were pretty much non-surprising. Europe weaker, China. I suppose China was the only surprise. It bounced quite strongly. Otherwise, it was a pretty dull old night. So the first one we're looking at is the Euro Aussie. Got sent this. This was discussed as something great, but it was head and shoulders. So, what would you have a large? I was also wondering if the neckline. In which case, the price has bounced off that level, and that might put my target. Okay. A couple of things here is this is not. Excuse me. This is not the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern. The head and shoulder pattern was across this here. I suppose if that's what you're talking about. Yeah. So you were, oh, sorry, I thought you might have been talking about this trend line. This, I don't know what this is or if it's of any relevance. But just going through a checklist, I did notice a couple of things about it. You said, because in your email you said you want a higher probability, and this only scores 6. A few things on this though is that 6 out of 10 is one thing I've noticed is that you've set to a no to this, saying that 45.50 seems to be a support that's going to ruin your trade because it gives you a poor risk reward. That's one thing. I'll come back and have a look at that when we go to the charts. Second thing is that you've got the fib around the wrong way. You've drawn the fib for your as if you're looking for your extensions, and then you're saying 382 is your resistance. You've measured this, and the 382 is of little relevance. You should for fib retracement resistance, you should be measuring the previous phase 1, not the previous phase 2. That's the second thing. Third thing is trend line. I see there is being a trend line, so let's go and have a look. This is where the previous phase 1 started. Okay, this previous phase 1, and we link it to the start of the next phase 1, and we get trend line resistance. So we could therefore say yes to this one. Okay, 45.50 being a support level. Again, let's go back and have a look at the longer time frame. Well, before I do that, the reason I'll show you where I've set my target. You've measured the Fibonacci like this for your extensions, which is fine. You can see I've just gone the other side of 1618, which is down at 44, and it gives me a better risk reward ratio. However, for your Fibonacci's, to resistance, retracement resistance, we need to measure the phase 1. So we measure this, and we can see that the 61 is our resistance. So just compare that to your chart here. Now finally, let's go and have a look at that 45.50 level, which you can see here from my target at 44.20. I'm just above this massive, what was support. Yeah, so that's on the monthly, and you can see that it's around this level here. So 45.50 I don't see as any sort of major resistance to the trade. You're looking at this top here, and that, let's go and put that in there and see if that sort of lines up with anything further back in history. Not really. Yeah. So whilst it is this low, you'd expect in the cyclicity of the market that you're going to make a lower low. Yeah. So you would expect to get through the 1.272 and into the 1.618. And so therefore, if that is the case, you could say yes to this. So then you've got 2 more yeses, and now you're looking at 8 out of 10. And the only no's are that the 5200 is the wrong way up, which you've correctly identified, and that there's no hidden divergence, which is also you correctly identified. So that gives you 8 out of 10, and that might make you feel a little more confident. I understand why you're going this, because your accounts free margin is a little under the starting balance, and that's a good option to take. But I think your risk reward would be increased as well if we said, okay, well, let's target this 1.618 level here. Okay. So other than that, that's pretty good. The neckline on the head and shoulder pattern could be seen as across here, or this horizontal level. This could have been the neckline, but the horizontal that you identified is also a valid neckline. You mentioned the weekly being a ring low off the 50. Yeah, at this stage, but we've obviously got one bar to finish, or a day to finish this bar, and then it'll need to break above this high here to confirm that this is a ring low. We've seen the Aussie have a ring low, and now it's looking like it's going to break lower, although a bit of a bounce just this last hour or so. So yes, this is weekly, but we're clearly in a downtrend. Yep. And as I mentioned the other day, this could even be the head and shoulder pattern on the weekly. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. But we'll watch that in days to come. So I think that's a reasonable setup. Okay. You'll then come to the dollar yen, which I mentioned this morning in my report, and that I was looking at. There is divergence across these three bars here. Yep. If we go across these three bars, and and we see divergence across here. Yep, at the same sort of time. So there is minor divergence. It's only a little, but when you're looking at a range trade, this being the bottom of the range, the top of the range being up here where I'm targeting. We've got the stops underneath there. It's about 2.1, I think it was, risk reward. That's my analysis, as you can see. Having a look at yours, you've got Class C divergence. Okay, that's a fair call. I can see that. You're going 0.1, but again, because you're against the trend, and I think in your email here, though, you mentioned something about doing a trend reversal rather than a range reversal. So you're doing a trend reversal, you're targeting the 50 EMA. Yeah. I've noticed you've drawn that fib there. That's okay. As you might have seen, I drew this fib, which is, here's your one cycle, another cycle. And that's your phase 2, so you can draw that one, and I've got the 1.618 plus the 200 EMA tagged perfectly by that. And that's why I liked this trade more than anything else, really. And the double bottom. So if you're doing a trend reversal, you're targeting the 50 EMA, and therefore your risk reward would be even less than 1 to it would be 0.3 return to 1, risk 1 and make 30 cents sort of thing, because you'd be targeting this here. If you, however, you're looking at this range, which you've identified as well by these red lines, then your risk reward is okay. So you said trend reversal, and 103.75 is not something that you look at as, that's more of a range reversal. Okay. If you're going way across the 50, because a trend, you're only targeting the 50 EMA. You're trading that phase 2 back to the 50 EMA. So just be aware of that. So I consider the range reversal. The 50 EMA has gone nowhere. The 200 EMAs flatline, so therefore you've got your flat EMAs, which are a must-have on the range reversal. I'm not very good at range trades. I think I've had out of maybe half a dozen range trades I've taken, I've only had one winner. So my percentages of range trades aren't crash hot, but we shall monitor this one. There's reasonable potential in this, so that's good. Right. Then another gentleman is also looking at the dollar yen. There's this zone of support. You know, these lows and these lows. Yeah, I'm not sure what that zone. I think is about 40 pips. Support zone, good. RSI divergence, marginal. Yeah, I agree with you. It is marginal, but I like the fib extensions. Okay, where have you got that? The 50 retracement. Where have you drawn that from? Here. Here to there, that move. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So that of that move, that support right out. What this person or gentleman is looking at is this move here and saying that the 50 is being supportive of that. So if we just draw this, I'm not sure if he went from there. Let's just, yeah. So you can see from this move that it pretty much followed that red line, didn't it? Very strong, powerful move. You know, it's gone from 96 to 105, so that's 1,000 pips. And then the 50 retracement is there. But you could also, if you had a look when I drew mine, where I drew my extensions. This is what you would probably call a Fibonacci cluster. If you're looking at that, you can see the cluster there of the 1.272 and the 50. It's a good strong cluster. So there's another argument for your trade. So it's all looking pretty good. Okay. There's another reason to put your trade on. So back to your analysis. RLLT plus bullish buyer bar, ring low, low test. Okay, plus bullish buyer bar. Cool. That's good. That's good. And what's your other chart for is, yeah, okay. A nice bounce off that long-term trend. And the 200 EMA. It's all boding well for this trade. You know, also your momentum is coming from the lower end of the scale, and you expect that to cross the RSI and get to the top end of the scale. Good stuff. Okay. You're on the verge of passing on it. Well, maybe now you might change your view on that. Up to you. It's your call. Risk less on it. Okay, cool. All right. This account has put orders on both of these. Euro yen phase 2. Euro yen phase 2 trade. There's divergence there. Yep. Your Fibonacci extension. Yep. Well, just on your Fibonacci's, a couple of things you don't need is 1382. 1.25. Definitely don't need. It's 1.272. You might want to have these in, but they're not necessarily the 1.5 and the 1382. Big ones are the 1.272, 1.618, and the 2. Okay, and this should be 786, not 764. Yep. Okay, but strong horizontal support I presume that goes way back. Was resistance, now support. Yep. Divergence, bullish price action, fib extension, weekly RSI overbought. Okay. Your RSI is the right, I can't see, RSI 6. Yep, cool. Good. Risking 0.25%, fabulous. And your other one that you're looking at, you are aware these are very similar trades, and I presume that's why you're risking 0.25%, so you got 0.5% on the almost the same trade. Yep, cool. All right, again, just these fib levels, just they should be in the book if you've still got the book. The levels that you do need, it's up to you if you want to have these other ones. I'm not too fussed, but yeah, this should be 2.272, and this should be 786. Otherwise, these two here are unnecessary, but if you want them in, that's your call. Again, the fib's correct. I presume this is a strong horizontal. Let me just have a look. Yeah, okay, cool. On the Euro Yen, I can see that. Swiss Yen, I think, is a little different, if I remember its structure. Yeah, you have to go, my data can't go back that far, but I think there was some work around up here. So I'll presume that your analysis is correct in that these are strong horizontal. Strong horizontal back in the 70s. Okay. Oh yeah. This is, yeah. Even in recent action. Even in recent action, was it? You know, you couldn't say that was strong. And you might stop doing that. You might go to sort of say there, and it looks stronger. Yeah, you got all of that, and we've closed back above that, so that's, you know, that's 113.70. Cool, all good. Fib, just a mistake, not the computer I trade with. Oh, okay. Cool. All right. Yep. So the pound that we're in, those guys are in this. You, 2 consecutive buy bars. Your stop should be underneath that inside seller bar. You know, you're waiting for it to continue on. Dollar yen we're in. Euro pound is that's an income generator. I'm having to monitor. Euro Aussie went in for, you know, aggressive, and now looking to go in on the normal. Euro Kiwi, someone else is looking at, and let's go to that now, which is this one. This is both Euro and Aussie and Euro Kiwi giving sell setups, but both have near doji yesterday with the Euro Kiwi slightly seller bias. Don't want to sell both, but giving the setup except Aussie dollar, both giving buy setups. Okay, so the Aussie and the Kiwi are both giving buy setups, except Aussie dollar had a lower high, lower low. Okay. So you believe that there's more strength in the Kiwi than the Aussie. So that's why you believe the Euro Kiwi is a better trade. That's totally understandable. Also, Aussie Swiss giving a buy setup but RSI diverging. Did you look at the Kiwi Swiss? Because that is would be the same. You know, if you're looking at the Euro Kiwi, again, let's we were discussing this yesterday. In that, you know, you're looking at the Euro, and the Kiwi. You're also looking at the Euro and the Aussie, and you think that the Aussie AUD, USD, they're both giving, and the NZD, USD are both giving you strong bullish signals. Yeah. But this one is giving you more bullish than the other one. Yeah. So you're wanting to sell this pair, which means you'd be short euros, so you don't want to short both of them. The other thing, what you need to consider is the Kiwi Swiss and the Aussie Swiss are effectively the same as these two. So these two trades are effectively the same as these two. Yeah, because you'd be looking, they'd be giving you buy signals. Yeah. And so those buy signals are effectively what you're doing up here, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so just be aware of that. And again, the Swiss and the Euro are very similar in terms of their correlation. Yeah, and obviously these two are very similar in terms of their correlation. Yeah. So be aware of that when you're taking trades, guys. So spread your risk capital across. Anyway, so you, with all that in mind, you decided this is the better trade. That's fair enough. So let's have a look. You've got measure this for your fib retracement, which I can't really see. Oh, okay. So 0.5. Yeah, that line there is the 0.5. Right here. And then you measure this for your extension. Good. Lower highs, lower lows. Yes. Below the moving averages. Yes. EMA resistance. I presume you're saying yes to all of these. Horizontal resistance, soft. Yep. RSI convergence. Yep. Bearish price action. Yep. Fib retracement resistance. Yes. Targeting 1.272. Does that give you a decent risk reward? I presume. So that's all good. That's I like how you write soft on these. This is good. So trend line resistance. Did you have trend line resistance? You don't if you go there. If you go to this one, I suppose you don't either there. No. Okay, so you don't have trend line resistance. Euro Aussie. It's a doji, almost a test bar. But if we get triggered in, there's going to be a lot of sellers. Yeah. So we expect that. And same here. This kind of does look like a better setup. The only thing that I preferred on this is that we had this one sort of got to the 1.272 of sorts, whereas your Euro Kiwi barely made it. It's almost a double bottom. The low here was 65 and the low here is 48, so it's what's that, 12 or 17 pips. When you've got an ATR as high as these things have, which is about 180 in a day, 17 is not all that much. What have we got? ATR not down that far. Yeah, 100 pips a day on average. Back here it was doing what? 190 pips, almost 200 pips on average. Okay, so that's good analysis. There was just two other emails. One says, on a daily trade, we cancel an order if not filled at the end of the day and reassess if to proceed with another trade based on the previous day's price action. Correct. For a 1 hour or 4 hour trade, how long do we leave an order in? 1 bar as for daily, or at the end of the day's trade, end of bar 2000 hours? The same concept is if you do not get filled in the bar that you expect to get filled, you need to cancel your order and reassess. It might be something like you're trying to trade the day, the hourly on the cable, and it just is giving you inside bars and no sort of signals whatsoever. So, but you need to reassess it and say, well, is there an opportunity still available? Do I want to keep my order? But if it's not triggering you in on a bar you expect to get taken in on, you need to reassess. Okay, so at the end of every hour, you need to be monitoring the markets and go, okay, I'll leave my order there, or go, okay, I need to pull it out and wait for another setup. Yep, it might be going, oh, I was looking in here and I didn't get the the swing high I was expecting off this bar. And you go, okay, well, I'll cancel it and I'll wait until I do get a swing high, and then 2 hours later or an hour you get an entry. Yep. Does that make sense? So the same as the daily, you need to cancel if you're trading on the hourly or the 4 hourly, you need to cancel your order at the end of that, at the end of the time frame that you're trading. Okay. I wonder if on the webinar this morning you could talk a little about what happens when bar 3 of a ring low is clearly a higher high and a higher low from bar 2. But you can see the sellers in the bar. So bar 3 of a ring low is a higher high and a higher low from bar 2. But it's a seller bar. Okay. So like this one. This one here is a seller bar, but it's bar 3. But you go on to talk about the Aussie Swiss. Okay, so let's go and get the Aussie Swiss. Yep, same. So if this is a seller bar, same with the Euro Aussie that we're looking, because this is the Euro Aussie upside down, isn't it? That's a low test bar, which is a buyer bar. Yeah. Similar sort of pattern, just up. It's a mirror image. The way I look at things is that if price is going to get all the way back up here and make a new high, yeah. So it's going to get all the way back up here and make a new high, then who's going to be dominating that today if that is the case? So that's the way I look at it, is that if the price managed to climb 100 pips or so to get back all the way back up there, and we're expecting this, we've got the good cyclicity and we expect the market to be getting stronger here, and it does in this day, then we should be looking at gaining an entry there. So I'd still be placing my order above that high of that bar, as I have underneath the low of this bar, looking to get that entry at some point today. So although there are sellers there, the buyers have more power. Look, the sellers might have, we're expecting at some point, if you break it down into a lower time frame, you'll see what happened is that this is the start of the buying that we expected, and then there's obviously some news announcement push this back down again. So this was the Aussie getting weaker and the Swiss getting stronger when this happens. And I'm not sure exactly why that would have been the case with the news that they had, but that was, that was the eventuality. So we had this strong buyer bar, and then we were buying, but at the close it closed weaker. That's okay because we still have a higher high, higher low, and in this instance we still have a higher low at this stage. And if we can get, even if it had made a lower low but then turned it around and became an engulfing bar, you guys know what an engulfing bar is, like this, and then closed on its high and made a higher high, then we should be in the trade because we're seeing that buying sentiment where we expect to see that. Yeah. So there's an instance here, like there's an inside bar. Would you be taking this trade? If yes, because there's still buying sentiment there, you'd leave your order in there. And as with this, you'd be placing your order above that because you'd expect, there'll be the sellers won't win if you get triggered in. If the sellers do win, and the selling sentiment that came in the last sort of through this period, if the sellers continue, then you're not going to get triggered in. Yeah, your order won't go live. Your order won't be taken in. If you place it up here and the sellers continue to run the day, then your order won't get taken in. So that's the reason why I'd be okay to leave it there. Yeah. I could not get a good risk reward on the euro yen. Can you see a risk reward? Okay, so just before I go to that one, are we okay with this one? So it's the two Aussie, Swiss, and Euro Aussie, which is the stronger? Personally, I prefer trading the euro because there's more. It's the number one currency, or the most traded currency out there. Obviously, despite the US, but in terms of what you trade, the euro is number one. So whereas Swiss is down at number 5 or 6. Yes, the Swiss and the euro are highly correlated, but I just prefer the if there was an option between the Aussie, Swiss, and Euro Aussie, I'd always go for the Euro Aussie. If there was Euro Pound versus or the Pound Swiss, I'd always go the Euro Pound. But that's my personal. If you want to trade the Euro Aussie Swiss and it fits your rules, then go for it. Okay, Euro again, let's just flick back to this one because someone's asking about the risk reward on this. To be honest with you, I didn't look at that, but if we do, we say, okay, there's 114 pips, this is 150 pips, it's about 1 to 1, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, 1 to 1 is not ideal. I mean, you can take them, but you want to be sort of targeting things that are 1 to 1.5. This doesn't mean you can't trade this. Once it starts to rock and roll, you could look at say this hourly setup. Once it breaks through this high, you start trading the hourly. But thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I didn't look at that when I was analysing it before. The risk reward is rather tight on that. And if we look at the Swiss yen one, it looks similar. It might be slightly better in terms of risking 80 pips for 130. So that's about 1.5. So Swiss yen looks a bit better than the euro yen in terms of risk reward. Would you please comment on the dollar CAD short setup? Yeah, I'll try to. I don't know if I agree with that as being a short setup. Euro Aussie short, where did you place your target? Was it just above this 1.618? Just below. That's my target on the Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie, sorry, yeah, just above 1.618. And you may notice I've got 2 trades on this. One was an aggressive and one's the normal setup, trading on bar 4, but the stop loss and the target are the same on both. Okay, I don't have any other targets or stop losses, they're the same. And once I get triggered in, then I'll manage them the same. I won't be moving this one differently. What if you went to the 4 hour? Is it too early? On what? On the euro yen, I presume. The 4 hour. Yeah, it's on the euro yen or the Swiss yen. The 4 hours too early. You're still trading phase 2. if those ones you're talking about. Euro yen, you were trading euro yen as in a range. Okay. I thought your checklist was a trend reversal, not a range. And if it's in a range, then yeah, your risk reward might be, if you're saying, okay, this is the top of my range up here, and it's certainly your risk reward will be a lot better, even if you're going for these tops here or these tops across here. Yeah, if that's the way you see it. But are your moving average is really flat? 50 hasn't really gone anywhere, I suppose. Unlike the dollar yen, this has actually had a serious, significant break. Yeah. Okay, if you believe that, then that's okay. I'm not going to argue. As long as you can make the argument, I'm not going to argue with you. So dollar CAD. Dollar CAD. Yeah, there is a ring high here. You are getting, if you look at this as a cycle, on a cycle, you're getting lower highs, lower lows. Are you getting a trend line? No trend line. Do you have a horizontal resistance? Well, you could argue, yes, you do. Do you have Fibonacci resistance? You could say, yes, you do. Momentum's in the middle, so it could go either way from here, and you'd make decent money if it went either way from here. But which way is it going to go? I personally believe that this is range bound. If you look at a fundamental point of view, I think they're both reasonably strong. But you've got these two Fibonacci's, which are effectively just holding price in, and has been for 4 or 5 months now. And so I would be looking at this as more of a range trade than anything else. And there is a ring high, but there was a ring low a couple of days ago. Train tracks, if you like train tracks. Yeah, just because this is a lower high or lower low doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have a new phase 1 down. I just can't see the CAD outperforming the US and driving this back down. Not at this stage. But from a technical point of view, it can give you a reasonable scorecard. Hey, shit. I have to admit I can see different things at different times. And get confused which one is which. Yeah. Also hidden divergence. Is there? I suppose if you go off this one here, yeah. Yeah, look, at times you can see a trend reversal, and it might be a range reversal, and at times you might see a range reversal and it could be a trend reversal. It's difficult to tell where it's going to go in the future. If you had that kind of strong idea of where it's going to go in the future, I don't know if you'd be trading. Well, you might be trading, but you'd be keeping it pretty quiet. So you've got to look at the past patterns to try and have a reasonable confidence over what the future will be, because history can repeat. And so the euro yen you could be looking at it as a range. This dollar CAD, you could be looking at it as a range. The dollar CAD, you could be looking at it as, well, no, it's making lower lows and lower highs, so we're actually in a trend. And same with the dollar yen. So the dollar yen, if it is in a trend, then your risk reward is probably not something you'd want to tackle. But if it's in a range, then yeah. So if in doubt, if you're uncertain of which one it is in, then my best suggestion to me is to walk away and take something that is clearer, such as the pound trade the other day, such as the Euro Aussie today, or the Euro Kiwi today. They're a lot clearer to see, and it makes perfect sense in fundamentally as well as technically. So they're the type of trades that you should be focusing on rather than trying to get a marginal trade that, I don't know what this is it in a range or a trend, and it's a low margin, low probability trade, then perhaps it should be best to be avoided. Okay, screenshots for analysis. This is the last email. It's only just come in 5 minutes ago. Loading up. Okay. You've heard me talk about the Euro Aussie, and the other one you looked at, the dollar yen, so let's just check your analysis. Your Fibonacci you've drawn correctly. Class C, hidden divergence. Yeah. Most people don't really talk about hidden divergence in different classes. You either have it or you don't. We don't sort of make the distinction of A, B or C with hidden divergence, but I can understand what you're trying to do here, and that's okay. Class C, is it a strong entry? Maybe not. Below the moving averages? No, you're not. That's a no. You're not below the 200, are you? I can't remember. I don't think you are. No, you're not. 200 was a bit of a support line. So you can't give that a point because you're not below both of them. EMA resistance, yes, you do have the 50. Horizontal, yes. RSI convergence, yes. Bearish price action, you will if you get triggered in. So give that a yes. Bearish chart pattern. Don't know what that is. You favour the Euro Yen over the Aussie Swiss. Right. Not sure what the correlation between the Euro Yen and the Aussie Swiss is, and chose not to take the phase 2 on the Swiss yen as there wasn't a strong enough horizontal. It really did look did like the look of it other than that. Okay. You favoured the Euro Yen over the Aussie Swiss. Maybe you meant Euro Aussie over the Aussie Swiss due to checklist scores, and that's why you emailed me the Euro Aussie. Reducing 0.5%. Okay, all good. So your other analysis, Aussie yen, whilst that's just opening up, dollar yen is long. Is your target around the 104 swing high? Yes, or the 105.50 resistance. No, the 104 swing high, because I'm trading it as a range on the dollar yen. So my target is just underneath that. That's where I'm going for, because that gives me. I did look at this one here. But my risk reward wasn't that crash hot. So then you look at this high here is also around that high there. Well, that's more like that high. We'll keep an eye on it as we go. No doubt this being a range trader, I'm going to get probably get up here and I'll get out of it because I'm useless at trading ranges. We'll see. Okay, so your yen analysis. You got your fibs. Yep, that's correct. Horizontal, 101.40. It's around there somewhere. I think it's 101. Excuse me, mine's 101.18, my horizontal support. But as one gentleman noticed, there's certainly a zone here from this low here, which is 100.80, to these lows here, which is around 101.20. So there's about a 40 pip support zone there. Strong horizontal RSI divergence. Yep, you've got it from there to there, and you can even notice it in this little tick up here. Bullish price action, fib extensions. Yep, flat MAs. Yep, bullish chart pattern. Again, you're giving these points. I don't know what for. It's the same with your last one. You're saying yes to it, but what sharp pattern are you saying that's bullish? Okay. So yeah, just tell me what you see as bullish, because when you come back to this in a week's time or 2 weeks' time or even a year's time, what the hell did I see that was bullish? And if you clearly state it, then it makes it easier to sort of understand what you're thinking, other than relying on a memory. Okay, the lot size calculator talks about bearish chart pattern. Can you confirm what this means? Yeah, in the platinum course, we did those bearish chart and bullish chart patterns. Either range reversals or continuations. They're the ones in the prop platinum manual. You must have done the platinum, otherwise you wouldn't be listening to me, because only platinums have access to this forum. Okay, so in those chart patterns in those books, so it might be, if you're looking at something like an ascending triangle or head and shoulder pattern that you're trading, you could be adding that to as a part of your analysis and saying these are the reasons I'm taking these trades, because it's head and shoulder pattern retesting, such as the Euro Aussie was a couple of weeks ago. This is the head and shoulder. So you've got left shoulder, right shoulder, and it's broken this neckline, and it's come back and retested it. So this might be an added thing for your checklist, saying, well, yeah, I've got horizontal resistance, but it's also the neckline of a head and shoulder pattern. So it gives you another point on your checklist. Cool. All right, guys, go to the Waratahs this afternoon. They're coming good. They've got all Waratahs. They've got 10 of them. Made the Wallabies yesterday, I noticed. Anyway, you guys have a lovely weekend. Enjoy the sunshine. I hear that May's leaning towards one of the hottest on record. It's because Australia keeps wanting to crawl northwards at a rate of about a metre, what is it, an inch a year or something. You guys are making your way towards Bali. Men and their ball games, yes. I won't be rude, but we do enjoy. You guys have a good weekend. I shall. The next webinar is I believe Monday. I think. Is it the 30th or the 27th? What day is Monday? Does the 26th ring a bell to you guys? Yes, 26th. Okay, good. Then I shall see you then, and enjoy. Thanks, Monday the 26th. Have a good one, guys.